The symbolism of the Magician Tarot card. One of the advantages of the Magician Tarot card is that there are actual people we can study who were or are magicians. Houdini, for example, here with his mother and wife, was one of the better known ones. Even the Bible has accounts of magicians. In Acts 8, 9-24, for example, there is an account of Simon Magus, and of Peter's long-running battles with Simon. Peter even battles Simon when he is levitating, bringing him down and breaking his legs. But we don't have to go this far back. Salvador Dali thought of himself as a magician and even created a tarot card for himself. Aleister Crowley also thought of himself as a magician. He created no fewer than 3 versions of the Tarot Magician card, each with its own symbolism. This one, this one, and this one. Description of the card. The Magician, also known as the Magus or the Juggler, is the first trump or Major Arcana card in most traditional tarot decks. Magicians can perform tricks, either by sleight of hand, or by illusion, or by being able to harness spiritual power. And this is Tahra Bey, who was at one time one of the most famous magicians in Egypt. All their tricks demonstrate their skill at being able to control physical things. Neo, in the fictional film The Matrix, was being a magician when he stopped bullets. Kuda Bux was a Pakistani magician and firewalker. And Count Alessandro di Cagliostro, 1743 to 1795, was the alias of Giuseppe Balsamo, an Italian magician. He became a glamorous figure associated with the royal courts of Europe. The tricks may be simple, such as those used in cards or the ball and cups trick, or may increase in complexity. For example, weather control. See our video, Odin, Weather Control, and the Mercury archetype. Spoon bending. See our 2 videos, Spoon Bending and Michael Crichton and the Spoon Bending Party. Levitating. See our video, The Uncontrollable Levitations of Françoise Fontaine. This is Daniel Douglas Home, levitating out of a window. Or firewalking. See our 2 videos, Firewalking and Dr. William Tufts Brigham Firewalks on Lava. Moreover, we may witness or think we witness walking on water, or cutting the lady in half, and the Indian rope trick. Despite the fact that many of these feats may be achieved by illusion, just being very good with your hands and body, the light and props, there may be instances where the magician is indeed blessed with the ability to use spiritual powers to manipulate physical things. And to be a genuine magician, the audience must never know which it is. And this is key. All the guesses must be wrong. Because if it was that easy, the person would not be a true magician. Symbols on the cards: cup, sword, pentacle, wand. In this card, Le Bateleur from Oswald Worth's 1889 tarot deck, we see three objects on the table: a cup, a sword, and some pentacles. A wand is in his hand. These symbols represent the tarot suits in the Minor Arcana, the mundane cards of the deck: cups, swords, pentacles, and wands. The use of these symbols is intended to show that the magician has mastery of the mundane. Even the Lightseer's unusual card has the rings of the elements: earth, water, air, and fire, which are themselves represented by the tarot suits. Infinity. In some cards, such as the Morgan Greer, Rider-Waite, or Oswald Worth, the magician has the symbol of infinity over his head or used as a hat. In this case, the magician is in touch with the infinite, receives spiritual help, and can connect what is above to affect what is below. No connection. On the other hand, there are cards where the table simply shows some of the tricks of a magician who uses only sleight of hand, cunning and wiliness. The Tarot of Dura being one of them. The cat this time replaces the fox as a symbol of guile. James Randi spent a large portion of his life attempting to discover who had those powers and who didn't, and used his own magician skills to do so. They were not insignificant. He could bend forks, for example, and he had been in a sealed casket underwater for 1 hour and 44 minutes, breaking the previous record of 1 hour and 33 minutes set by Harry Houdini. The Metatron. The Lightseer's card for the magician has both the infinity sign on the hood and the Metatron sign on the arm. The Metatron contains the shapes that are the basis of all creation. They are in nature, in crystals and DNA, and form the foundation for all physical matter. And although the symbol sums up the skills of a magician who is in touch with the infinite, very few cards explicitly use this symbol. The table. The table is rectangular, and a rectangle is symbolically the earth, the physical. Although we could make this more complex by describing the significance of the number of the legs, we won't, because the symbolism is not used across the board. Why is the magician number 1? Because it is a position of great danger and great trust. If one really has the power to levitate, change the weather, bend metal, walk on water, firewalk, and use so-called supernatural powers to influence the mundane, one could use those powers to defraud, kill, make people ill, enslave people, and generally destroy a great number of people's lives, at which point one would be labelled a sorcerer. There have been numerous writers who warn in fiction of sorcerers, and this is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. In J.R.R. Tolkien's fictional Lord of the Rings, Saruman is a wizard turned sorcerer. In J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter books, Harry struggles against Lord Voldemort, a wizard, Tom Riddle, turned sorcerer. And in Star Wars, the Jedi battle the Sith, the Dark Lords of the Sith are called Darths, and Darth Vader was a Jedi turned sorcerer. In other words, sorcerers may start as wizards, but are lured to the dark side by their weaknesses, promises of immortality, fear of losing someone they love, promises of power, like John Dee, and by their ignorance. Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi, became Darth Vader, a sorcerer, after he broke Jedi law and married, after which his dreams prophesied the death of his wife, Padme. A man or woman with this much power is indeed immensely dangerous. Perhaps even more so if the person practices those skills in ignorance. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is a 1797 poem by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. It was used in the 1940 Disney animated film Fantasia, which uses music by Dukas. The apprentice, Mickey Mouse, causes total chaos simply by using his skills without being able to control them. And this is why experienced magicians such as James Randi, Harry Houdini, and such men as Harry Price, the British psychic researcher, made it their life's work to stop the naïve, the dishonest, and simply downright evil. Magic circles. A magic circle is a circle of space marked out to provide magical protection. The British Magic Circle organisation is based on this idea. Applicants must qualify for membership and give their word not to willfully disclose magic secrets, nor practice magic for evil ends. In the USA, James Randi's self-appointed mission has been largely taken over by Penn and Teller, but the misuse of magic is now beyond the scrutiny of single men. It can operate worldwide, from China to Chechen and from Albania to Africa. And no one exists to stop the sorcerers.